Hello guys, welcome back to another video of Legend of Runeterra. This time we are continuing the series of ranking every champion in Legend of Runeterra based on region. This time we are going with Targon, the Space Gods. We are going to start with the strongest one of them, at least in lore, Zoe. Zoe is a 1 mana cost unit with elusive keyword. It means it can only be blocked by an elusive unit. Once she strikes the Nexus, she can create a super cool star shard in hand, or if you already have one, reduce its cost by 1. Initially, it is a 2 mana cost unit burst spell that can invoke a celestial card that costs 3 or less. Invoke means it can pick a celestial card from among 3 to create in hand. Once you play 10 cards with different names, Zoe evolve, and now it will grant you a Nexus. When you summon an ally, grant its keyword to all allies. Grant your Nexus means even if Zoe die or is removed from the field, the effect still apply. And now when Nexus strike, create Behold the Infinite. It costs 0 mana, burst spell, and invoke a celestial card from among 3 to create in hand. So if you leave Zoe alone, you'll regret it. And for that alone, for me, she is a perfect champ. Very cheap. As long as she attacks, she can eventually give herself the win condition to basically make all units more powerful. She is elusive, so very hard to kill. Nothing to complain about. Let's go to Diana. Diana is a 2 mana cost unit with quick attack, so while attacking, she strikes before her blocker. If you have Nightfall, which means she is not the first unit you play this round, or when you activate another Nightfall from another ally or spell, give Challenger this round. Challenger means she can choose which enemy will block her. If you activate Nightfall 4 times this game, she will evolve. And now when you activate Nightfall, give Diana +2 and Challenger this round. So for me, Diana is don't bother. For having just Challenger and +2, it really takes a lot of a deck specifically for her, and even then she's not that great. Actually, she can be good against some enemies, but it's really hard. You can pick one of them, either depend on deck or don't bother. Even with the best deck, she can be temperamental. Moving on with Aphelios. Aphelios is a 3 mana cost unit with Nightfall. If it is Nightfall, so it's not the first card you play this game, he can pick a moon weapon to create in hand. Each round, the first time you play 2 other cards, create the phased moon weapon in hand if you don't already have one. Phased means pick the next moon weapon for Aphelios. Once you play 4 moon weapons, he will evolve. And now each round, the first time you play 2 other cards or round start, create the phased weapon in hand if you don't already have one. If you do, your moon weapon costs 1 less. Moon weapons are the following. You either have Calibrium, which can deal 3 to a follower, then pick the next moon weapon, either Severium or Graviton. Severium will allow you to give an ally +1 damage, +2 health, and lifesteal. So when dealing damage, it will heal the Nexus for the same amount, but only for 1 round. Then you can go to either Gravitium or Infernium. Gravitium allow you to stun an enemy. If it is a follower, stun it again the next round. this can allow you to go to Infernium and Crescendium. Infernium will give you +2 damage, 1 health, and Overwhelm. So excess damage he deals to his blocker is dealt to the enemy Nexus. And now we can go to Crescendium or Calibrium. Crescendium will allow you to summon a random 2 ghost follower from your region. And you can either go to Calibrium or Civilium, etc, etc. All of them are 2 mana cost, slow spells, with effect lasting only 1 round. So Aphelios depend on deck. You need to survive long enough to go through the spells, but even then they are not that great. But they can be a very good buff to other allies besides Aphelios. And having quick attack and 4 damage is already not bad. Next we have Soraka. Soraka is a 3 mana cost unit with no keyword. When she attacks, her supported ally, supported means the unit at her right, directly at her right when attacking, is healed. She can heal herself and her support ally for health. Once you heal damaged ally 4 different times, she can evolve. Now each round, the first time you heal a damaged ally, draw 1, and when she attacks, she can fully heal herself and her supported ally. So very good support, very cheap, but it depends on deck. You don't have a win condition from Soraka herself unless you have a landmark or another way that can benefit from her healing. Okay, let's go to Yuumi. Yuumi is a 3 mana cost unit with attach. Attach allow Yuumi to attach herself to an ally, giving it her stat and keyword. While she is attached, when that ally leave play, dead, recall, obliterate, anything, you can recall her. So this basically make her as an equipment. At the start of the round, give the unit she is attached to +1 attack and defense. If she is not attached to any unit, she get the stats. To level up, she need herself or the unit she is attached to have attacked 3 times. So if the unit she is attached to die before this is achieved, we need to start all over. Now she get spell shield, which will be given to her ally, which will negate the next enemy spell or skill that will affect herself. Now at the start of the round, grant the unit attached to her spell shield and +1 attack and defense. So even if the spell shield is broken, she get a new one. And basically infinite scaling. Yuumi depend on her deck. If you have a unit that need a higher stat, she's really good. If not, she's not that great. She's not bad, just not great. By the way, the reason I'm using Yuumi right now instead of with the Yordles, she's not a Yordle, she is the cat of a Yordle. Okay, next is Pantheon. Pantheon is a 4 mana cost unit with Overwhelm, so excess damage he deals to his blocker is dealt to the enemy Nexus. Barrier will negate the next damage the unit will take last 1 round. Fated, each round the first time an ally card target him, grant Pantheon +1 attack and defense. Once you target allies in 5 different rounds, Pantheon will evolve. And now, once he level up, grant Pantheon a random keyword for each round you have target allied this game. So the best case scenario for Pantheon is to target a lot of allies, then summon him. The longer you do this, the stronger Pantheon get. and he as well depend on his deck. You need a lot of spells or units that can target allies like support or stuff like that for Pantheon to be good. A very good combo will be Pantheon and Soraka, since Soraka will bring him back to full health, so and that count as targeting ally. Next we have Taric, 4 mana cost unit with support. He can give himself and his supported ally tough this round, and copy the last spell you played on only me this round into that ally. It cannot be copied again. So before you attack, you need to play a spell on Taric, and that spell will be given to his supported ally. Once you target or support allies 7 times, Taric will evolve, and now he and my supported ally and himself can take damage or die this round. Copy the last spell you played on only me this round into that ally. So once he evolves, he basically make himself and his supported ally immortal for 1 round. If you add the spell that make all buffs permanent, this will give you a very, very dangerous combination, basically unbeatable. One thing to keep in mind, the fact that he is invincible, cannot take damage or die, doesn't mean he can negate Overwhelm. It can still affect the Nexus. And for me, Taric is okay. Yes, with a supported ally, he can be better or more powerful, but he alone is enough to make a win condition. And even then, even if all fail, his evolution power is way too powerful to be ignored. Let's go to Kale. Kale is a 5 mana cost unit with no keywords at the beginning. She gets +1 damage for each time an ally attack with increased power. When summoned, she gives other ally +1 damage. When she reach 6 damage, she gains quick attack. And to evolve, she needs to have at the start of the round 11 plus power. Once she achieves that, she evolves, get Overwhelm, so excess damage dealt to her blocker is dealt to the enemy Nexus. And she keep all her buff. Now she get, once she reach 16, she get double attack, which means while attacking, she strike both before and at the same time as her blocker. So with Overwhelm and 16 damage, that is basically guaranteed killing any unit, except some exceptions. So for Kale, she depends on her deck. For 5 mana cost unit, you need to spam attacking with empowered allies for her to show a good effect. Okay, moving on. Let's go to Leona. Leona is a 5 mana cost unit with Challenger. Challenger means she can choose which enemy unit will block her. She is Daybreak, which means she is the very first card you play this round. She stuns the strongest enemy. Strongest means more power, then more health, then more cost. Once you activate Daybreak 5 times, she will evolve. Now, when you activate when she Daybreak or activate another Daybreak, she stuns the strongest enemy and give herself barrier this round. So same as Leona, she depends on her deck. She need other units Daybreak for her to actually have any positive effect and to evolve. So next we have Malphite. Malphite is a 7 mana cost unit with tough keyword, which means he will take 1 less damage from all sources. Once you play him, he can stun an enemy. Stun means he can remove a unit from combat. It cannot attack or block for the rest of the round. Once you summon 10 plus mana of landmarks, when he can level up, and when he level up, if you already have the attack token, create Unstoppable Force in hand, 2 mana cost, slow spell that can stun all enemies. Once he evolve, now every time when he's summoned or round start, if you have the attack token, create Unstoppable Force in hand. So, as you guessed it, he depends on deck. He needs quite a few landmarks, and he costs way too much for him to be anything else than here. Very powerful with the right combination, but on his own, he's really not that great. Finally, we have the hyper carry and most expensive champion in Legend of Runeterra, Aurelian Sol. Aurelian Sol is a 10 mana cost unit with Spell Shield, which can negate the next enemy spell or skill that would affect him. Plus he has Fury, which means when he kills a unit, he gets +1 attack and defense. If you play him, he can invoke, which can pick a celestial card from among 3 to create in hand that cost 7 or more. So quite expensive units even when summoned. At the start of the round, he can create a random celestial card in hand. To level up, he needs to have himself and his allies to have 20 plus total power. So he has 10, other allies need to fill up the rest. Once he evolved, now he have 11 power, 11 HP. And when he creates a random celestial card in hand, and all celestial cards cost 0. Celestial cards are some of the most expensive and powerful cards in the game. So having Aurelian Sol level up is basically GG, except for a few counters. But for 10 mana cost, he is either okay or depend on deck. For me, he is okay. As long as you have him on your hand, on your deck, you basically win. But to summon him is quite hard, which make him not perfect. So Targon are mostly dependent on their deck, but with the right deck they are overpowered. With 1 perfect champ and 2 okay. So this is it for my part. Hope you liked the video. If you do, please share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and put in the comment what is your take on Targon. See you next time. Bye.